It's a pleasure for me to be here. As Leonardo told you, I am a former GIOCA student, and since my graduation, every year I had the chance to speak to GIOCA classes. So it's a long tradition, thanks to Prof. Cristina Boari and Simone Ferriani. Every year they invite me to talk to the new class, and for me it's a pleasure to do so. It's also a sign of good luck because till now things are going very good for my company and my activities. So I'm very happy to share them, to share the story with and my experiences with you guys. I would really be happy if you have questions, you interrupt me, you ask me, and so please, if you agree, I would stay in a chat format, okay, in a chatting format, so less formal and more useful, and let's try to cover curiosity or necessity that you have in this kind of arguments, okay? So please don't make me feel alone on the floor, but join with me. As Leonardo told you, I am a former GIOCA student since I founded the company Ginger very few weeks after my graduation. So the idea of crowdfunding comes to my mind during a Prof. Ferriani class. Crowdfunding was absolutely a strange word in Italy, but you could find the first examples. So I find out I was a fundraiser since some years. So while I was making GIOCA, I was a fundraiser. And so I knew which were the problem about fundraising since the time. And when I discovered the tool of crowdfunding, I found out that could be a really interesting opportunity for the sector. And so I decided to launch my company. Today, so we have a 9 years old company. I am a professor at University Catholic of Milan, contract professor, because my first job is to run my company. We are around 10 people that work in my company, and we are really happy to run what we do. I would like to ask to Susanna to launch the first call. It's a really simple one, because I have adapted. So I don't know. I have two main topics that I can share with you today. The first one is to focus on my startup story. So I don't know if you have some questions or curiosity, or you would like to understand how comes that a student can launch a startup, and which are the problems or the opportunities that you can find in the nowadays world. Or on the other side, to understand which are the basic principles to launch a crowdfunding campaign. Okay, so thank you for answering the call. I know I can also focus on both the topics, the argument, however, the theme. However, let me understand, what do you prefer? Okay. Okay, I wait you all to answer. Some of you miss to answer, so but it's okay. Okay, I see that the majority of you, the big majority of you, wants to have some tips about how to launch a crowdfunding campaign. So this is the best argument, the biggest argument of the evening. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's focus on crowdfunding. Good choice. Let me understand which is your level of experience in this kind of sector. Do you ever had, this is the second question, the second call that I asked Susanna to launch to you. Have you ever donated to a crowdfunding campaign? So a friend of you, somebody from family, from friends, some professionals, something just by chance that comes to your attention and you decided to support with a crowdfunding campaign. Very good, very good. The majority, I see that the majority of you had already donated to a crowdfunding campaign. This is very interesting, very nice. I would like to ask you if you have done it on Ginger, but next time we will do also this call, not today, Susanna. This is interesting because in the majority of you, 70% of you answered that you have, okay, donated and supported a crowdfunding campaign. And this is something pretty new and pretty dedicated to your specific target, okay? You are young, you are well-educated, you speak more than one language, you are digitally speaking educated also, and the majority of you have actually already donated to a crowdfunding campaign. Only few years ago, it was really difficult to have this kind of answer, okay, inside a group of people like we are, okay? So this is very important, and it tells also us something about this sector, okay, that it is increasing a lot. The third question, and then I leave you alone. The third call is about to launch a crowdfunding campaign. Have you ever launched actually a crowdfunding campaign, or are you also planning to do so? Okay, so please answer yes if you do not ever launched a crowdfunding campaign, but you are planning to do so in, I don't know, few months or in a year. Okay. It happens for me many times in class, also in my university class, that I have some students that make volunteer or organize cultural projects like Susanna and Leonardo, for example, or they volunteer in some association, and I understand that crowdfunding could be interesting not only for their professional life but also for their actual activities. Okay. Okay, very good. Wow. 60% of you answered that you actually have launched a crowdfunding campaign or you are planning to do so. Okay, so please, I ask you if you want to, if some of you wants to tell to everybody its experience on crowdfunding. So who of you, just open your mic and talk. Who of you have actually launched a crowdfunding campaign in the past? Somebody has, or someone that is planning to do so. Who of you is planning actually to do a crowdfunding campaign? Don't be shy. Yes, just open your mic and please tell me. Hi.
Hi, Agnese. I had an experience, but not that it was not precisely my campaign, okay. But I worked on the campaign for others, and also I also participated in a kind of crowdfunding because it had somehow rewards, but it was more for fundraising during the pandemic, the first months of the pandemic. And I did also, I was part of a team to collect money through crowdfunding campaign for an album for a band.
Okay. So you actually had 3 experiences?
2, actually.
2, okay, 2 experiences.
Okay.
Okay, did you enjoy the activity of launching a crowdfunding campaign?
Yeah, but it takes you a lot of energy, actually.
It does.
And adrenaline, I must say.
And adrenaline, yes, it is. It is a lot of suspense and a lot of activity. You need to be on time, and yeah, it is. Okay.
Yes, and it depends on the platform, because if you don't get, like, for example, in Kickstarter, if you don't get the the money that you put it as a top, you will not get anything. So it makes things a bit harder. And by that time, as I remember, it was just Kickstarter, the only one that was available as an option, maybe Indiegogo, but yes, I haven't explored actually your platform, but yes, I remember it was that way.
Okay, all or nothing role. Okay, we are going to talk about it because it's something, from my point of view, it's something very important. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your story. Someone else that wants to share with me?
And we have one in the chat because Maria Cristina says that she cannot turn on the mic, but she has worked in a marketing agency, and one of her clients was a crowdfunding platform.
Okay, so Maria Cristina, you have seen the platform point of view. Okay, yeah, today we are not going to see that kind of point of view, otherwise we run out of time. But it's interesting also to have that kind of point of view. It's interesting. Thank you, Maria Cristina. Okay. Okay, then. We don't have a lot of time today. However, I am happy to put on the table some little tips, okay, that you can focus more if in the future you will need to make a crowdfunding campaign. I share the screen so that I can start with my presentation. Okay, oh, sorry. Looks like she is asking. Okay. You should see my, okay, you should see my, my screen now. This is my platform, okay? This is the platform that I found on 2013. This is a general kind of platform. So this is why we say so, because it's a platform that hosts any kind of project, so, okay, starting from editorial, arts, theater, events, technological and innovation, or so we host any kind of project that we find in our road. So it calls a general kind of reward-based crowdfunding platform. We founded it on 9 years ago. During this year, we have launched 651 projects that collected this amount of euro, okay, 6.5, more than 6.6 million euro. With a success rate that Leonardo just told you of 94%. This is a reward-based crowdfunding platform, okay. We have in the market different kind of crowdfunding models. Today we are going to focus on the reward-based crowdfunding platform, which is from my point of view, the most useful for creative industries, cultural and creative industries. Okay. Crowdfunding is one of the tools that you can use inside a fundraising plan. Okay. So you usually work in the fundraising office of an organization, and you decide that during the year you will have different strategies to get the sustainability and the economical potential to do your project. Okay. Inside all the strategies that you have in your fundraising plan, you decide to use crowdfunding. Okay, so it is one of the tools that fundraising gives you. Okay, one of the options, crowdfunding. The specificity of crowdfunding is the fact, the name said so, the fact that you want to speak and get the attention of a large number of people, okay, asking them even a small amount of money. So the first specificity of crowdfunding is the fact that we have multiple kind of first people, okay, and targets that we want to convince to support us, okay. In Italian, we say that to do things together makes things stronger. L'unione fa la forza, okay. And this is the principle behind crowdfunding. This is the first principle. But actually, this first principle can be elaborated in our crowdfunding strategies in different ways. Okay. Second important, because if we want, it is much different if you want to focus on very few sponsor or institution and get a lot of money from them, or if on the other side we want to speak to a lot of people and convince all of them to give us a small amount of money. Okay, so this is a completely different way of communicate. Okay, a completely different tone of voice, a completely different strategy. Okay, and we are going to see how crowdfunding is going to give us different leverage to do so. Okay. The second important thing that we need to focus on when we speak about crowdfunding is the fact that we are on internet. Okay. Crowdfunding is born in 2007, 2009, more. So yeah, we don't really have a clear data. Okay. It was born in US. And exactly in the same time, you can see the increase of the social networks and all of the sharing economy platform that we are used to use, so used to use today, okay? Only 10, 20 years ago, social networks and all the sharing economy was not so big and important as it was today. However, while people from one side was learning how to share content, speak to each other from one side to the other of the world, and so on, at the same time, tools like crowdfunding was born. Okay. We speak about sharing. Crowdfunding is a little part of the biggest scenario of sharing economy. Okay. Sharing economy, it's that kind of economy that stand on the fact that people, peer-to-peer people, decide to do things together. Okay, going to share goods, services. Okay, because they share their interests. Okay, a sharing economy platform, a very well-known sharing economy platform, is, for example, simply Airbnb or BlaBlaCar. Okay. And crowdfunding puts his roots exactly in the same kind of scenario. Okay, so you have people that share interests and that decide, people that are only consumers. Okay, they are not producers, they are only consumers. They are peer-to-peer. It is not their job to rent their house or to be a taxist. Okay, a taxi driver. Sorry. They do other jobs but they want to share an activity and a specific interest with somebody else. Okay, this kind of relationship between people is something new in the economical scenario. Okay, in which you can see traditionally producers and consumers. Okay, in the sharing economy we have a huge exchange in this kind of positions. Okay. And this is something interesting because it means that people start to relate to each other in a different way, start to have faith to each other in a different way, okay, and it also gives us the chance to use internet in a new way. Okay, we see that there are some big risks or threats in this way, but today we are going to focus on the opportunities. Okay, this kind of scenario in which crowdfunding takes place, it's very important to let us understand which are the opportunities of crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, it's a tool that is increasing in these years. These are old data, but even the less older are saying to us that the market, the crowdfunding market, is actually increasing. Okay, the Italian market, it's increasing a lot. The COVID pandemic gave to the third sector, the cultural sector, gave the chance to understand how the digital tools are important nowadays. And we as Ginger had a huge increase of activity during these 2 years, okay? Due to the logic that pandemics had actually obligate us, okay, to do. Let me first say to you, sorry, okay, one thing. When we speak about crowdfunding, we speak about different models of crowdfunding, which are these 4 that you see on the slide: reward, equity, lending, and donation. The 2 most famous crowdfunding models nowadays are reward crowdfunding, which is the one that we are going to focus on, and equity crowdfunding. Please pay attention, because very often newspapers, journalists, articles around, they mention crowdfunding without saying to you if they are speaking about equity crowdfunding or reward crowdfunding. But it's very easy to understand which are they talking about, because equity crowdfunding is that kind of crowdfunding that gives the chance to a company, okay, a startup and a company, to raise investments, okay, investors. Okay, so equity crowdfunding is specifically targeted to startups and companies that give a share of their capital, okay, so they give a share of their company to all the people that wants to invest to their company. Okay, so in this case, the relationship is an investment. Okay, so I invest in a company, in a startup, and I become the owner of a little share of the company itself. Okay, so when you read an article and you see that the article is talking about investment, for example, or this kind of language, we are not talking about reward-based crowdfunding. The other most important model is the reward-based crowdfunding, which is the one that we are going to see today. Okay, and we are going to focus in a much more in depth. Okay, reward-based crowdfunding. Well, reward is it's something that you give back. Okay, but we will see some examples. The fact that the fact that we have a reward opens this tool to not only to the non-profit sector, but also to the profit sector. For example, the cultural industries. Okay. So reward-based crowdfunding is very interesting because it's a very eclectic tool. You can use it if you are an association, if you are a public administration, for example, or if you are a company. Okay. You can use reward-based crowdfunding to raise money, for example, to restore a theater or a cultural asset, or you can use crowdfunding to sell a product, a theater ticket, a theater show, a ticket for a theater show. Okay. So it's very, very eclectic. It depends on who you are and which are your interests in that specific moment. Let's make some example. Sorry. Okay. This, for example, I didn't use Ginger examples because my examples are mainly in Italian. Okay. I'm going to use different kind of campaigns, but I know them very well. This, for example, is a very important crowdfunding campaign run by Opera di Santa Croce. They are a very important institution in Florence, and they decided to use crowdfunding in the specific campaign on Kickstarter to restore a chapel inside their museum complex. Okay, so this campaign is called Crazy for Pazzi. They had to raise $95,000, okay, in 40 days. And thanks to this money, they could have been able to restore the loggia of the Pazzi Chapel. Okay. They have been able to collect the money that they needed. They've been able even to collect some more. Okay. So they collected $102,000 by 859 bakers, okay, supporters. And this is the case of a non-profit institution that, even if it's non-profit, as you well know, has actually have the necessity to reach the break-even, to cover a lot of expenses. Okay, so they actually have an important business plan that puts the attention to the sustainability and to the economical and financial aspects. Inside their fundraising plan, they have decided to use crowdfunding. It is very interesting, their strategy, because they have decided to, first of all, to raise 50% of the costs of the restoration by traditional fundraising. Okay. Once they had in their pocket 50% of the money that they needed, they decided to launch the crowdfunding campaign, asking to the people and to their community a specific amount of money, $95,000, okay, which was the exact amount that they needed to end their restoration. Okay. And this is a non-profit example. If you want, we can also go in depth on it. On the other hand, we have a profit example. Probably you know it. It is a very interesting campaign made by two Italian girls. They live in US, but this is Italian-made crowdfunding campaign. A huge success, a book that nowadays you can find in every bookshop. Okay, probably in Europe and US and a lot of countries. Okay, well, their first step was a crowdfunding campaign. They decided to launch a crowdfunding campaign asking to the people to give them $40,000, okay, $40,000, in order to have the money to pay all the creators and illustrators, all girls, that were able to make the illustration of the book. I don't know if you know the book. I hope so. It's a book full of good night stories. Okay, targeted to children, specifically to girls, but not only to girls. And inside the book, you find out 100 stories about women that in history have actually made success and extraordinary things. Okay. So this is a product, a cultural product, because it's a book. They need to be economically and financially in positive, okay? And they decided to cover the part of the expenses to the production of the book thanks to crowdfunding. In the case of the production and the production of a product, the production of a service or a product, crowdfunding is very, very useful for us. Okay. If they didn't decided to use crowdfunding, Their chance was to put their money, for example. So you need to find out money to finance your product and the production of your company. And you can do many streams. You have many ways to do so. Crowdfunding gives you the opportunity to pre-sell your product even before you have it, okay? Even before you produce it. And so you cover your economical expenses, going to sell your product even before to have spent the money to produce it, okay? So the traditional way of a company, the traditional life of a company is research and development, creation of a prototype, asking for collecting money by investors or putting personal investment, produce the product. Okay, so you have your company full of your product, find out a distribution channel, make up a marketing plan, start to sell your product, and then you get your money back and you began from the beginning the circle, okay? With crowdfunding campaign, you have the research and development stage, you have a prototype, and then you make a marketing campaign with a crowdfunding campaign, collecting the money that you need to produce your product with the crowdfunding campaign, selling the product even before you have it, okay? So in this stage, while the two founders of Timbuktu decided to use crowdfunding, was a stage in which they already had the prototype, okay, the first copy of the book. They are quite all the copy, not actually the copy. They missed the illustrations of the book, okay, but they had the story or the big part of it. They had the idea. They had all the costs, all the business plan of their idea. They actually missed to have money to produce it, okay? And so decided to launch a crowdfunding campaign. They collect this amount of money, okay? And they were able to produce their product. But actually, things are not only like this, because they not only had the chance to get money, okay? Crowdfunding is never only about money. And it is the main message that I want you to share with you. Crowdfunding is never only about money, okay? Crowdfunding is much more than this. It is an opportunity of a company to make a market test, okay? The biggest resource that Timbuktu as a company has after this crowdfunding campaign are not money, but are the contacts of these 30,000 people, okay? So the most important thing that they have done is the fact that they have a huge database of clients, of customers. They have data of them. They have the possibility to talk with them, to understand why they have chosen their product, okay? They had visibility, okay? Thanks to the crowdfunding campaign, they had visibility. They reached a brand reputation, okay? They understood the willingness to pay of their target. They understood their target, okay? Because at the beginning of every project, okay, a startup or a company or whoever, you have mainly two lucks, okay? The first luck, you need money. Of course, you always need money. The second luck, but it's actually much more important, are informations. You lack information, okay? You are going to launch a new product, a new company, a new startup, and you have no idea to how the market will answer to your offer. No idea. You have your intuition, you can make some research, you can make some tests. Well, crowdfunding is an interesting way to make a test, a marketing test. Okay. And this is very important, I think. From one side to raise money, from one side you raise money, from the other side you raise information. And as you see in the slide, you have two kinds of information. From one side, you have information from the outside, okay, from the market, because you know who decided to buy your product, why your product had a good or a bad answer by the specific target. You can do a lot of tests during a crowdfunding campaign, even before to have spent money to produce the product. Okay, so it's even a tool to lower your risk as an entrepreneur. Okay. But thanks to a crowdfunding campaign, you as a company also have the chance to understand if the inside part of your company are well organized. Okay, because you understand if the marketing office is working, for example. You understand if you are able to produce that amount of product. Okay, you elaborate and you increase your bargaining status with your stakeholders. Okay, it is absolutely not a chance that a lot of companies, they first make a reward-based crowdfunding and then they go to investors. Okay, because after a situation like this, okay, this is a huge example, I know, but after a situation like this, you can also go to investor and say, okay, do you want to invest in my company? These are the numbers. These are the public chances that my company is going to make good things. Okay. No, sorry. I've put it in this slide only two examples, okay, on how crowdfunding is a tool used also by big companies. Here I've put it down two examples, one from Coca-Cola and one from Philips. Both these companies, very commercial, very financially strong companies, decide actually to use crowdfunding to launch a new product. Okay, it was the first time that Coca-Cola decided to launch a kind of water, a special and luxury and kind of water, okay, the Valser water. And so they didn't know how the market was going to answer to their proposal. And here you have Philips, which is a huge kind of company that decided to launch this smart wireless projector. Okay, it was the first time that Philips launched a kind of project like this. Okay, and so they decided to do with a crowdfunding campaign. The first case, Coca-Cola, went no good because Coca-Cola, you see, they have reached their goal, but they ended pretty low. Had to be Coca-Cola, $10,000. It's so low. And in fact, after this example, Coca-Cola decided not to launch the Valser water. Okay, not to put the Valser water in their commercial activity during the years. On the other side, we have Philips that had a huge success from crowdfunding campaign and decided to put the projector and to face the mini wireless projector market in a stronger and stronger, with a stronger and stronger strategy in their company, okay, in their business plan. So you have a test and then you react. So you see the opportunity for a crowdfunding campaign when you have with a profit logic, okay? It is also important from my point of view to consider a crowdfunding campaign when we have the non-profit, okay, or the cultural, the simply cultural point of view in our mind. Because when we make a crowdfunding campaign, we not only raise money, to run our project, to make things that we need. But you also raise attention. Okay, you raise attention, you sensitize your community. Crowdfunding is most of all marketing, is most of all communication. And during a crowdfunding campaign, you communicate every single aspect that gives value to your cultural asset. And at the end of crowdfunding campaign, you not only have money, but you also have more attention, a biggest community, a strongest community, and you had the chance to raise awareness and reputation on the things that you work on. Okay, just to make a familiar just to make a very familiar example, because it's a Bolognese one. Few years ago, we helped the municipality of Bologna to raise money to restore Portico di San Luca. Here you see it. We raised 340,000 euro by 7,000 people. At the end of the crowdfunding campaign, thanks to the work of many associations in the city, we organized a festival, the San Luca Festival. At that festival, in the first edition, we had a huge amount of people coming to celebrate the porticos and to give money to the porticos. Okay, so in one day, we raised 10,000 euro and we had 70,000 people to visit the monument. Okay, so at the end of the crowdfunding, is that the time in which I was really young, because it was the second year of the first year and a half of my professionality in crowdfunding. And I realized how crowdfunding is not only a tool to raise money, but is a tool to increase the value of the cultural asset. So at the end of this campaign, Un Passo per San Luca, we had the porticos restored and the porticos with a bigger value for the community of Bologna. Okay, which is from my point of view, it's actually much more valuable than the money itself. Okay. I think the last example that I want you to take in mind. In Italy, we are in Crete. I can talk to you about Ginger a little bit. We started with a different kind of proposal in the market of crowdfunding. All the crowdfunding platforms are organized being, sorry, okay, this is our little story. Probably the number are not that actual. We are the first company that decided to give a different kind of offer in the crowdfunding market. All the crowdfunding platform, they give only technology. Okay, so all the other crowdfunding platforms give to the market a technology. Okay, then the market decides how to use it. Okay. From my point of view, I thought that to give to the sector, to the cultural, the third sector, to the startups, to give to the sector only a technology would not have been enough. Okay. If you see on Kickstarter tells you that the success rate of the campaign are no more than 35–40%. It means that 7 campaigns over 10, they don't reach the goal. From my point of view, the role of a crowdfunding platform should be much richer, okay? Because it's okay if a platform, let's think, for example, of Airbnb. Airbnb, it is another sharing economy platform. You have an offer and you have a demand, okay? You have people that have free houses and people that want to travel. The only role of the platform is to make the offer speak with the demand, okay? And that's it. In the fundraising sector, you don't have this kind of scheme because you don't have somebody that already knows how to make an offer. And from the other side, somebody that raise up in the morning and decide to give money to a cultural institute. Okay, so you actually need to have the culture, the know-how that is going to help you actually to raise money. Okay, so in crowdfunding was not so simple, and this is why we organized a completely different model. And this kind of model brings us the chance to have a 94% of success rate, okay? And gives also us the chance as a company to work with a lot of partnerships around Italy, to bring to the third sector, to the cultural sector, to startups, to young entrepreneurs, to public administration, and so on, the tools, okay, the know-how and the technology to make a crowdfunding campaign. Outside Italy, we have very interesting examples in how big institutions use crowdfunding as a fundraising tools every year. I invite you to visit the Tu Mécénat platform of Louvre. Louvre uses crowdfunding every year to raise 1 million, 1.5 million, it depends on the project, to restore pieces, to buy new pieces for their collections, to make some improvement in their structures, in their museums or park structures, okay? Are beautiful and amazing examples of fundraising, of evaluation of cultural asset, of arts. They are amazing way to make art and culture much closer to people, okay? Nowadays, for example, you see they have launched this campaign, Become a Patron, on the Miseroni Cameo. They want to buy this part of this little and amazing and very extraordinary piece of art, and they have raised until now 85% of the money they need, which is 1 million euro, and they have 1 month left to reach the goal. Okay, I think that I'm stopping here, and I'm free and open to questions. I told you many things. I see that in chat. Okay. Just people that left. Do you have some question? Otherwise, I have a couple of things to tell you. More?
I would have a question, but I would prefer someone else has. I don't know.
For example, before Gar Robles, I don't know the name, the exact name, I see the name, okay, told us something about the all or nothing role in crowdfunding. Okay, I think it's something very, very important. The all or nothing role says to us that if you don't get to the economical goal that you've put in on the platform, if you don't get all that money, at the end of the campaign, the platform will give the money back to your community. Okay, let me find out. Okay, this is the role. I'm sharing already. Sorry. This is the all or nothing role. Okay. So you will receive the money only if you get the economical goal. This is something that, as Gar Robles told us, puts a lot of adrenaline in your work. Okay, of course it does. And sometimes you may think that this role doesn't really help you. Okay, it's only stressful, but this is not true. I think that success of what we do in Ginger, I mean, 99% of Ginger campaigns are all or nothing. All or nothing means to create a very transparent and much more healthy and worthy relationship with your donors, okay? Because if you say to your donors, your potential donors, I am going to restore, I'm going to make a book, this book, and I'm going to ask you this specific amount of money. Why am I asking you this specific amount of money? Because if you don't give me this specific amount of money, I will not be able to do the project. Okay, so it appears that the money that you are collecting are really necessary for you. Okay, otherwise people doesn't give you money. Okay, people doesn't give you money only because you are funny. They give you money if you are funny, if you are good in do things, and if they believe that their action to donate you money makes really the difference. Okay, so all or nothing is a very important role. This doesn't mean that this also means that you have to build a whole strategy in order to be, and I would not say sure, but in order to be quite confident to being able to reach that amount of money. Okay. So the all or nothing role doesn't mean only that you will be in suspense every day. It only mean that you will build up a strategy, okay, to being able to reach your goal, which is absolutely important in any kind of business or project. Okay, and you will collect more. In my platform, we have a success rate. No, sorry, this is okay. We have a success rate of 94%. So 94% of people actually reach the goal. And we also have 166% of overfunding. It means that not only people helps you to reach the goal, but once you reach the goal, people is even more enthusiastic and engaged by your campaign so that they continue to invest in your campaign, okay? And they actually make you collect more and more, okay? This is very, very important. So taking your risk in doing business, in doing fundraising, in doing project, it's something that really is important for you, for your team, for your target, for the effort, for the strategy, and so on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Agnese. Are there any questions? Yes, maybe.
Yes, Leila, I think.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Leila.
So I was thinking about the aspects that you have as strategies to launch a campaign. And like, for example, if we want to publish a book for, I don't know, to create a material product, then is it more successful to maybe give a reward like the book? Like,
yes, of course.
But then I was thinking maybe I don't know, if we pre-sell the book at €8 and then maybe the book costs €10, is it more successful to have more people engaged, or like a small group? I don't know, because there are so many different strategies, because, like, for example, in my case, in my specific case, I'm organizing a festival in the Alps for this summer, and I'm not thinking about a crowdfunding campaign.
Why not?
because it's very it's very hard to go to that place, and I already know that the maximum amount of people that can come are there because of COVID. So I know that maximum 300 people can be there, and I know that I have that like amount of people there. Because I already created that last year, but for because of COVID, I couldn't really make it happen. So everything is already done. But for the next years, maybe becoming bigger and bigger, that could be a crowdfunding campaign. Could be very interesting to sell tickets, for example, to reach more people. Not
only to sell tickets. I mean, if the festival is already for free. You actually may enrich the festival. I mean, a crowdfunding campaign is also a chance to enrich the activity of a project, for example, a festival. For example, you can make special experiences inside the festival dedicated to donors, to supporters. Okay. There is a lot of people outside that doesn't only want to be an audience, but they want to be active. Okay. And so a crowdfunding campaign is a good chance to start a few months ago to talk about the festival and to explain the new things that you want to offer. Okay. And you explain to people that all the things that you want to offer have these costs. And you will be very happy very happy and very thankful to whoever wants to help your festival. You may also have the chance to create some digital experiences related to the festival and give them to whoever is not able to be there with you in the location of the festival. So it's also a chance to enlarge the target of the festival. Okay.
So like the book, the successful example you gave us, that they already had like the stories, and then they were trying to have illustrations. So,
exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let me show you a couple of things. For example, good night stories. Here you have the main reward, which is the book. But you have, so this is the main. You see how many bakers decided to collect it. This is the book, the hardcover book. However, not everybody is willing to spend $35 to support your project. Okay. And so what do? You actually organize different kind of reward. For example, if you want to give me only $12, I will give you a coloring book in PDF. So a similar product related to what I do, but it's similar. It's only PDF. It's similar, it's connected because you have portraits of inspiring women inside the PDF. Okay, so it's another little product close to the main one that you want to produce, dedicated to whoever don't really wants to give you a lot of money. Okay. Or on the other side, even if people that wants to give you only $5, you just give a PDF bundle, How to Raise Confident Girls. Okay, so it is a little gift, okay, just to thank people, and so on. I also suggest you to have a look. Are you Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I made it so to have a look at for example, at this campaign on Ginger. They launched it the last summer to make a festival, an art festival. And they decided to have interesting rewards from my point of view. €10 just a video message in which we ask you, we say to you in the quiet, all together, thank you for being closer to us, okay? Or special events, okay? For example, a show, a special show dedicated to whoever is going to donate. In this case, in a digital way, okay, because it's only 20 euro, and so on. With 30 euro, you will have a meeting online with the community, okay? Some digital postcard illustrated by artists of the festival, a show in streaming, and a special thank you, okay? So you have a different number of reward, all related to the campaign, and all targeted also to whoever is not able to be in Melissa at that time, okay?
Right.
And so on.
Thank you.
And also remember that a lot of people will just be in love with your project and decide to give you money without nothing in exchange. Okay. So rewards are a very good way to explain to your community how much effort you want to put on the project. Okay. So it's a way to demonstrate to people we do really believe in this and we really want to thank you. Okay. And people also decide just to give you money without having nothing in exchange because they like it. And that's it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agnese. I don't know if we have a little bit more time because before there was David Gomez who left, but asked me to pose you this question, which may be interesting for others as well. I'm trying to understand it because then he left and I didn't have the chance to ask him more properly. But he is working for on non-profit organization in the US, and they would like to launch a campaign to receive donation from a specific group of people. So I think the question is, how about targeting a specific group of people for the donations? I think that's
well, actually, crowdfunding campaigns that targets a niche market, okay, a niche, are easier in a way, okay. This is not due to crowdfunding, it's due to marketing. Okay. Usually who wants to make a crowdfunding campaign doesn't have a big marketing budget. And so with the lower budget, it's easier to focus and to target a very specific niche of market, okay? To have the attention to a mass market, it's much more difficult, okay? So the very important thing is to enter the niche, to have the chance to enter the niche. Once you are inside, because you speak the same language, you share you know which are the channels, you share interests, okay. Once you have these things, you enter the niche and you are able to get the attention to the niche, the crowdfunding is much easier, okay. In my platform, we have campaigns about mountain bike passionates. I mean, very specific sports are very, very useful and are very, very often hosted in our platform, or even other kind of niche market. Okay, so it is actually much better. Even in the case of Leila, the fact that she's targeting a very specific kind of community, it's important, okay? It's actually easier. And let me say another thing. I mean, I don't know why he decided to use Kickstarter, because Kickstarter is kind of difficult platform, but it's okay. But when you make a crowdfunding campaign, doesn't mean that everything you do needs to be online. Okay, especially if it is a local crowdfunding campaign, a local project like, for example, the Leila one. Okay, you also can make offline, traditional kind of strategies. If you want to focus more on crowdfunding, guys, we make, unfortunately in Italian, but we make workshops on crowdfunding, okay, quite every month. So if you, Leila, want to focus more on the chance to make a crowdfunding campaign for your festival, come, we make, for example, we have a chance which is quite for free, thanks to a partner, which is Emil Banca. If you go in the social networks of Idea Ginger on Facebook, you should find, oh, sorry, I'm not, let me find out a easier way, because we organize plenty of training moment. Okay, I can put you, I'm sorry, it's only for Italian speaking people. Okay, this is a partnership that we make with an important bank here in Emilia-Romagna. If you scroll down in the page, okay, this is the partnership. If you scroll down here, you have the chance to book a place at the next webinar that we are making on Monday, Thursday, and the Monday after, from 5 afternoon to 7 afternoon on Zoom. And I think they ask you 20 euro, just only to stop the place, because the class is going to be very, very small, to have the chance to be easy, to make a better better training. Okay, but we have this kind of chances quite every month. Okay, so if you want to use the opportunity.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much, Agnese. Do we have any other question or observations, or otherwise I would kindly say thank you to everybody for participating and being here this evening. Thank you especially to Agnese. If we also would like to continue a conversation on our Facebook page, as we did other times, we will in a little bit upload the recording of this webinar, and afterwards we can keep on chatting and talking about the topic if that's the case. I really hope you enjoyed, and maybe see you online for the next webinar of the series.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck for all your projects and studies.